So hi guys, so today we would be doing this use a data set using natural learning processing. This is part 3 of that series using TensorFlow, and today we would be applying some natural learning processing on the sarcasm data set. So basically this dataset to overcome the limitations related to noise in tutor datasets. This news headline dataset for sarcasm detection is collected from two news websites. So if you want to learn further more about this particular dataset, I have linked it to the Kaggle repository where all the things have been mentioned regarding this dataset, how to load it and how everything is done. So for now, I'm using the uh, Lawrence Morin's blog appspot link for loading the dataset. So once I have done loading the dataset, yeah, you can see it's done. It's 5.38 MB. So after that, we have to put that in JSON because this dataset may be in CSV or any other format, but we have to use this dataset in JSON format. So I would import JSON, simply use the location at that and load the JSON file. Okay, after that what we would do, we would declare a data storage that is sentences, and for item in data store we would append all the headlines that are mentioned in this data set. For now you can do other things in this data set too, but for now I am using only the headline function. So once we have appended the headline function, we would import the TensorFlow libraries. So I would import TensorFlow STF, yeah. So now we would use the tokenizer, and this time you can see the two things that I'm using. Oof token, last time I told you about this. So what this does is, if given, it will be added to a word index and used to replace out of vocabulary words during text to sequence calls. And the another thing that is fit on text, it updates the internal vocabulary based on a list of text. In the in the case where text contains lists, we assume each entry of the list to be token. So this would be used to convert the used to make the sentences fit on the text. So this is a must thing used to be before we use text to sequences or text to matrix. After that we would do word index equals to tokenizer dot word index. So after that we would print length of the word index and the word index, and once we are done with that, as you can see here, 29,657 is the total length of the word index, and all the word index are OOV 1 2 3, and all the above sentences mentioned here, the primate rate 5 FTP, and all the things that are mentioned in the headline dataset of the sarcasm dataset. Now after that we would be using the text to sequences and pad sequences. So I would just first run this to so we are using a random sentence here, that is the second sentence. If you want to use another sentence, you can experiment on others too. I will show you at the end. So you can see here, my mom started to fear since web series closes, thinks she will have to grandchild. So this is basically a sarcasm headline that was in the dataset, and what we are doing is we are first converting text to sequences. So this is the whole padded the whole text to sequences, because we have converted the all the sentences that were present in the set into a particular sequence. And after that we are using padded as a defining variable, and we are then using pad sequences. So coming to some detail, text to sequences what does is it transforms each text in text to a sequence of integers. And coming to the part of pad sequences, it pad sequences to the same length. So you can see here some argument that padded equals to pad sequences, and inside which you have to tell the argument which you want to pad. So it's sequences, which we have already used as the sentence text to sentence. And you must be thinking, what is this padding equals to post? So basically, as you can see, all these zero here, these are the zeros which have been implanted in the data storage place at the end, to make sure that all the things are equally padded, because we don't want unequal padding all over the data set. So suppose if you did pre here, what it would do, it would simply, yeah, it would simply print all the zeros behind this. So it's totally your choice. If you don't mention that, suppose if I don't mention this, then what would happen? Actually, when you don't mention that, it is default set to as pre. But and if you want to make it look something like that different, you can simply type padding equals to post and just run it, and you would see that it would print all the zeros at the end, and the shape is 26709 comma 40. So the reason we do padding is because we want all the sentences to be even. Suppose one sentence, this sentence has this length. Now another sentence would have, suppose I'll take another sentence that is one here. Okay. Now this would have definitely would have different length. Yeah, you can see it's of different length. So how would our data set learn if all the sentences are of different length? To make sure that all the sentences are of same length, we will use, yeah, we will use the padding. And how padding works, it takes the longest sentence in the whole data set, the longest sentence, and on the basis of that it creates a whole matrix. And on the basis of the longest sentence, we pad the rest of the empty spaces at 0, because that is the safest game we can play here. So this is how padding and sequences works on real life datasets. As you saw padding here, if you want you can experiment it on different datasets. This is the website of pad sequences. Here you can see a lot of things, the sequences max length, and the padding is pre, because it's in default by pre, and the all the things you can see here. So string pre or post pad either before or after each sequence, and the max length is the optional maximum length of all sequences. If not provided, sequence will be padded to the length of the longest individual. We are following this. Now suppose if I specified some length, then at that length only it would pad, but it's always safe to pad on the longest length, because no variable, no sentence or alphabet would be left out at that time. So this was it for the video, guys. I hope you liked it. Thank you and have a nice day.